We are back with the Running Raiders. It's a beautiful day in the studio. We have our first sponsor to shout out. The Running Raiders is now brought to you by Northwest Pizza, one of the leaders in the Valley. Pizza, wings, pasta. Actually had a 6-pack of the medium last night, and it was delicious. So go out and get some Northwest Pizza. We're here today with Bryce Goggin, the football team and the track team. We've heard a lot of great things about you, and I'm excited to get you in the studio. So thanks for joining us.
Appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Yeah, once again, I'm TJ Caughell. To my right today is Aden Hawes. To my left is Ani Sairam.
What's up, what's up?
Down below is Caughell. We're back at it. So, Bryce, tell me a little bit about your background. You grew up in Eugene, right? Tell me a little bit about growing up in Eugene and your household.
It was cool. I grew up on the west side of Eugene, so as far away from Autzen Stadium as you can get. Wasn't really downtown much, but I kind of just stayed with family and friends and just grew up playing sports my whole life. And thankful for the experience I had.
What got you into sports in the first place?
I'd probably say my older brother. He was kind of the sports guy, and I would just follow his lead wherever he went. He's 3 years older than me, and so he was always just a little bit bigger and a little bit stronger and a little bit faster. And so I credit him for a lot of my success because he built it into me.
Wow.
Yeah.
He must have been really big, fast, and strong if he was bigger, faster, and stronger than you.
No, actually, just until I got to my sophomore year of high school, he was kind of shorter, but for some reason he would always find a way to win, and it would just piss me off. So.
That's what big brothers do. That's good for you.
Yeah, exactly.
And did he go on and play any sports or anything after high school?
No, I wish he would have, but like I said, he didn't hit his growth spurt until after high school, which was unfortunate. And so he joined the military, and he's doing his thing out there.
Wow, which branch of the military is he in?
Air Force. He's an air traffic controller up in the tower, so he's doing good
nice.
job.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah. And what was it like growing up in your household?
It was good. Had a supportive family. My family, we're just a bunch of people that work hard. And so I kind of adopted that from a young age. And, if there's anything we want in this life, we are sure we can get it if we work hard enough. So,
yeah, what a great attitude to have.
Yeah.
And did you get outside? Like you were in West Eugene, you said? How far out in West Eugene were you?
I'd like to say it's the furthest neighborhood until you hit country.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So, we had a football field right, a 5-minute walk from our house, which was perfect for us. And it kept us out of trouble. And really just found the most to just stay active. And
Was football always your favorite sport?
Yeah, I'd say so. Just playing it from a younger age than most. I played basketball a little bit growing up, but it was just I was faster than everybody, so it's fun to just break away. But
yeah. What's your favorite part about football?
That's a good question. I'd say now, just the ability to dive deeper into your craft, and just there's always things you can continue to work on and just improve, and it kind of keeps me obsessed with it. And so but growing up, it was just just going out there and just playing, and it was just fun to just make plays and just enjoy being around my friends and having a good time.
Yeah, that's a great reason to do it.
Yeah.
So if there's anything that could happen on the field on game day, what would be the best thing that could happen?
A win, for sure. That's the number one thing.
Yeah.
But, I feel like I've grown a lot. So I'd say my answer now as a senior is just giving everything I had and just controlling everything I could control. And at the end of the day, that's all I can ask for. And just being healthy at the end of the match or game.
Mm-hmm. Have you had any sort of emotions or feelings now that the season's over and it was, that was your last football game, correct?
Yeah.
How has that process been for you?
It's been interesting. It was kind of just a whole ball of emotions, and I try not to get too deep into my emotions, but with the time off, I can start to see it kind of hitting a little more. But my first thought was it's a nice relief to have some time to focus on other things, and just kind of just relax. Sleeping in is nice for sure. But yeah, it's interesting. Just trying to. I feel like this year I spent a lot of time focusing on each moment and trying to enjoy it. And so kind of like knowing that it's not going to last forever and kind of being okay with what's to come.
Yeah, good for you.
Are you going to try to get into coaching or like playing overseas maybe? I know there's some football opportunities overseas.
Yeah, that's a good question. Definitely don't want to go into coaching.
Okay.
No offense, but
not taking
just but yeah, I definitely don't want to stop playing football. I'd love an opportunity. Growing up, I always wanted to play in the NFL. That was a dream. But realizing the magnitude of what it takes to get into that and like basically dedicating your whole life to getting just one opportunity is just something that kind of turned me off a little bit. And so I love the idea of playing football, and I want to take it as far as I can. But yeah, so I think Europe would be right up my alley, if I'm being honest.
Got it. And what is the process for that? We're familiar with basketball a little bit more and
Mm-hmm.
getting the agents, and they have the big thing is having a good agent and having the connections, but they also have the showcases that they do. For football, is there something like that when you're trying to make a squad in Europe?
That is kind of a process I'm still trying to figure out. Jordan Sewell was a wide receiver who played here, and he's playing in the USFL and got signed with the Canadian team. So I've been kind of like picking his brain a little bit. He's like a big brother to me, so it's nice to have that asset as someone who's already been there and done that. But yeah, I think the first process is finding an agent and then just figuring out what opportunities align with my schedule and everything like that. So
that's great though. So it's right now in your mind, it's not like, oh, football is over forever. It's like you still have opportunities.
Yeah. I actually got invited to like a Senior Bowl, like All-Star game next month that I think I'm going to go to with Christian Graney.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, for sure.
That sounds great.
Where's that at?
It's in North Carolina, which it'll be a good time, I think.
Is it like an NAIA All-Star game type thing?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah,
really cool.
Yeah.
I would imagine there could be some opportunities that open up out of that.
For sure. I think in the programming it says there's going to be like scouts there or something like that. So it'll be nice.
Yeah. So you're an all-conference football player.
Mm-hmm.
You've also been an all-conference track athlete here.
Mm-hmm.
You did win the hurdles last year. Is that correct?
Not last year in 2021. So I guess,
2021.
last year. Yeah.
Okay. But it was 2 seasons ago.
Yep.
Ago. Do you like track as much as you like football?
Oh yeah.
You do?
Oh yeah. Track is just part of my blood as football is. It's yeah, for sure.
How fun is it to be fast? Really fast?
It's fun. It's definitely gives you a confidence boost, but I wasn't necessarily like the fastest, so it's nice because I have that kind of like that underdog mentality that lights a fire under me every time I run, so it's cool.
Yeah. Well, it seems like hurdles would be a little more functional speed for football too. Like you got someone coming from the side that you have to get over to get to the end zone. I was always fairly quick, but I never had top end speed, and I hated getting caught from behind. I always wanted to be really fast. So I'm a little jealous of you.
Is there a difference when you get ready for a track meet and a football game? Like, what's your mindset like for a track meet and for a football game? Is it kind of the same?
I like that question. Track, it's all on you, and it's just an individual sport. So it's like you're either locked in or you're not, and it's going to show in the race. For football, it's a little different because you got 10 other dudes on the field that you got to trust to make sure that one play works. You just got to keep doing it over and over. And so football, it's a little more relaxed, and it's like I get to be like, okay, like I'll lock in the day of the game, but it's like the night before in track, I'm stretching, I'm having downtime, I'm like meditating, I'm getting my mind locked in, and then I'm like reviewing the race in my mind like as I'm falling asleep. And so football is just kind of like, all right, yeah, let's just go do this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, well, my understanding is I don't understand a lot about track, but my understanding is you're also kind of building up over a season, right?
Yeah.
So it's like early in the season, you're not necessarily trying to run your best time. It's more of a development up to the end. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's been an unbelievable experience with Mark Badowski, our track coach, and he's the man with the plan. And so it's nice to just put your trust in someone. And he's like, all right, so like this week we're focused on this part of your body, and don't do anything too much because that's when next week comes into play. And so it's like, okay, we got it.
Yeah, that would be really nice.
Yeah.
So what's your major?
Business.
Studying business. And what's your plan with that?
When people ask me that, I give an answer and they kind of look at me funny, but I want to do something big in business. I want to like shift an industry somehow, some way. And I think I'm dumb enough to go and do it in a way.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and you just have to have that foundation and that belief in yourself, and then who's to say you can't do it?
Yeah, exactly.
You just keep moving forward. You said you got this?
Yeah, so you're our first guest, so we're going to try this out with, all right?
Okay,
so
let's do it.
No pressure. We're going to play a little game of rapid fire. Just going to ask you a bunch of questions, and whatever comes to your mind first, just blurt it out.
I got you.
All right? Favorite color?
Blue.
Favorite food?
Mashed potatoes for some reason. That's the one thing that came to my mind.
Yeah,
exactly.
My man's excited.
You know.
Favorite dessert?
Ooh, ice cream.
Favorite vacation?
Ooh. Turks and Caicos.
Okay.
Oh, that I've been to or that I want to go?
Either.
Turks and Caicos. I've never been.
Where have you been to that's your favorite?
Probably Mexico.
Okay. Classic spot.
Yeah, exactly. Good time.
If you were trapped on an island
Mhm.
and you could only have one food the rest of your entire life, what would it be?
A Caesar salad with chicken.
Ooh, okay.
You get vegetables and you get your protein.
Yeah, you're trying to live for the longevity. I like
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Favorite athlete?
Gotta go LeBron James.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Or Devin Allen.
Okay.
Yeah.
The receiver from the Ducks?
The hurdler for the Olympic team.
And the receiver from the Ducks?
Yep.
That's what I know him from. But
I got
that's
you.
awesome. Celebrity crush?
Ooh, Margot Robbie. Beautiful.
Ooh,
Beautiful.
Good one. Favorite football player other than Devin Allen?
Julio Jones.
Big receiver guy?
Mm-hmm.
I like it. That was mostly the gist of it, but we just like to blast people with questions just so we can get a little better feel for them, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Good choice with Margot Robbie.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, is she tall?
I have no idea.
You don't know who Margot Robbie is? From what's that one? The Joker lady.
Yeah.
What's that movie called?
Suicide Squad?
Yeah, Suicide Squad. That's right.
That one's a great one.
Yeah.
There's a movie called Focus with her and Will Smith, and it's like they kind of like go around the world conning people, and it's a great movie.
It's on Netflix, right?
Maybe.
I've seen the title of it, but I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, it's definitely a good show. Probably one of my favorites that she's in.
Focus, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
Definitely.
Yeah, because Will Smith is great.
Mm-hmm.
At least he was at one time. He's kind of out of favor right now.
Yeah, that slap didn't do him any favors.
Not at all. What are your thoughts on the slap?
There's a time and place for slaps, and I don't think that was one. I think you should have just taken a deep breath.
Yeah.
So you're team Chris Rock on that one?
I'm not a team anybody. I'm just saying you got to have better control of your emotions.
It seemed like a really poor choice. Yeah, it should have been really bad.
I'm interested in what's a day of a football game look for you? Like from morning time to game day.
It's honestly one of the best feelings I've ever been a part of. Wake up, and then I like to just kind of clear my mind. I say meditate, but it's more of just like a deep breath and just kind of take away all the extra stuff in my mind. And then, I like to stretch. I kind of tweaked my back last year, and so like prehab is a big part of my routine now. But and then I call every one of my family members, just kind of talk to them about the day, and then just always good to hear their voice, and then make a big breakfast because I have no idea what I'm going to eat next, and drink my coffee, relax a bit, watch a little bit of film, and then head to the stadium, and then it's just kind of trickle-in effect. And then it's just you're with the team for the rest of the time, and then lock in, tape and dress happens, and then then you just go out there and just dog some kids.
What's the pregame playlist look like?
A lot of Meek Mill. I'm a big Meek Mill, Future kind of guy. I just or J. Cole as well. Just dudes who spit real stuff, not like fake, like, oh, I got all these diamonds, stuff like that. It's like I work. So, yeah.
Who's on the aux before the game?
Noah Turnbull, just because he has the speaker. And
is he valid with it?
I'd say he's about 75%. I would give him a 75%. But
still passing.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't do a bad job. So
I want to hear a little bit more about your meditative process. Mm-hmm. How did you get into it, and then what does that process exactly look like? Yeah,
good question. It was more of just like kind of like my mind was all over the place. And when I was a sophomore in high school, I was diagnosed with ADHD, and I really did not like the idea of taking medication. And my parents were fine without me taking it. But and so once I got to college, it kind of like I started to notice it would kind of like ruin interactions of just like, okay, I'm just too hyper. I'm just going crazy and just saying whatever it is. And then I found a YouTube video. I watch a lot of YouTube and just like kind of like self-help stuff. And there was this dude just simply defining what meditation can do for you. And it was just like 5 minutes. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty interesting. And then just from there on out, in the video, he talked about just building up to it. It's like, so first just start with like 30 seconds of just focusing on your breath, breathe in and breathe out. And then I started like setting a timer for 3 minutes when I would wake up. And then now it's to the point where I want to get down to like 10 minutes. And that's normally what I go. It's usually about 8 to 10 minutes, but then it just kind of just chills me out for the day. And I'm able to be in control of my thoughts a lot more. So I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, just in the short time of meeting you, I just met you this morning, other than sending you a couple messages, hoping you'd come in here. Your focus seems exceptional.
Appreciate that.
And your engagement is exceptional. Your ability to converse and, create fluid thoughts. It's impressive. And I think that's got to have a lot to do with it, right? You going through that process.
For sure.
I remember.
Appreciate that.
I really, I went through the teaching program here at SOU.
Mm-hmm.
I got my master's in teaching, and during that year, we just did a ton of readings, and just in our classes, we read a lot of books and a lot of different things in regards to working on the mind and psychology of teaching and the individual. And I remember reading a lot about Buddhism and starting to try and meditate myself during those times, and it's always had such a profound effect on me. But I'm also really bad about I'll do it for a stretch and I'll be feeling great, and then I'll kind of lose focus and stop meditating. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just kind of thinking about that process makes me want to do it more.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, I wouldn't say I do it every day, but it's gotten to the point where I've been able to be in tune with it. It's where it's like, okay, I kind of need it, and it's a good time.
And did you ever take the drugs?
No. I was very adamant that I can do everything I need to do on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I wish more people could find strategies to the way that you've done it and avoid taking the drugs. I think some people, kind of have to, but I think there's more people that rely on them that don't need to rely on them. So
yeah, sure. It's just tough. And I was like I said, I was thankful to have a supportive family, and not many people get that. So it's just all about perspective.
Yeah. Do your parents come to your games?
Yeah, they try to. Once I graduated, my parents are divorced. And once I graduated, my mom and stepdad, they travel nurse. So they just kind of travel the country and find jobs in hospitals, and they were able to come out to one game this year, which meant a lot. And then my dad's in Eugene, so he comes to every game he can. So I really appreciate him.
Nice.
What was it like when you heard the news that Coach Hall was stepping down? I mean, I feel like it was sort of a surprise to a lot of us, but just for you, and obviously you don't want to necessarily speak for the whole team, but just in your leadership type role, how was that for you? And obviously you're graduated now, but how was that, and just talk me through that a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't easy. I mean, anytime you have something like that go on, it's shocking to the whole program. And we wanted success, and that was just all of our desire. I know even Coach Hall's. And so but just any time in business or life, like if you're not succeeding, like someone else is looking to take your position. And so it's tough, but I like to think I look at things pretty black and white. And so it is what it is. I'm thankful for Coach Hall. He gave me the opportunity to come here and play football and just be a part of this program, which has been amazing these 4 years. And I'm truly thankful for everything and all of the experiences that we had. I wish him nothing but the best. And but yeah, no, definitely tough.
So he recruited you. You didn't have another coach who.
Yeah, he was the one that came into Willamette and was talking. And so it was cool to kind of be his first recruiting class. And I know a lot of guys in the locker room that were the same age as me kind of wanted to do that. Like, all right, we were his first recruiting class. Like, let's go show, like, we are those dudes that we can live up to, just like that 2014 team. But, there's a plan for everything. Just got to trust it.
Yeah. No, it's use it to motivate you moving forward is all you can do, right?
Exactly.
And it seemed like you guys were so close and so many things, and had some bad injuries. It seemed like I hope to get more of your word on it, because we're so enthralled with basketball that we don't have a ton of time really to dig in.
Yeah.
But what was some of the adversity that you guys faced this year?
It was just injuries were a piece, but I wouldn't say it was anywhere near the biggest piece. It was just, man, I think we're still trying to figure that out. I mean, I think we had everything we needed. I just think because we weren't blown out by any team this year. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but last year we did, and we fell apart. And this year, to the very end, we all stuck together. And no matter what was happening, like, we were going to be there for each other, which was really cool to see. I just think we kind of lacked a little bit of direction or some sort of leadership in those tight, like, tough games where it's like we have them right there where we want them, but just one, like, false start penalty or one, like, offsides, one something would just kind of throw us off. And, like, I was talking it with some of my boys. It seems like we were kind of like in a storm in a ship, and we just didn't really have that guidance to get out of the storm in a way. And I don't know what that was. I don't know who needed to step up, but yeah, it just felt like we missed something, but we just can't pinpoint what it was.
Well, you were playing young quarterbacks a lot of the season, right?
Yeah.
And that is, I don't care what level you're at, any level, high school, college, small college, Division I, NFL, a young quarterback always goes through those growing pains, and it seems like it's always like in crunch time, right?
Yeah.
When you just don't have the experience, and it's a lot. It's very rare for young guys to be able to do that. So that's, I'm giving you that excuse. from an outsider's perspective, it kind of seemed like that was there. And also from an outsider, I feel like you guys really created a foundation for the program, your class, and that you're creating a legacy for those classes coming behind you to see you guys as role models and the way you carried yourself and went about your business. That I think SOU football is going to get better and better. And unfortunately for you guys, you have to look back and say, hey, we built this culture and don't get to enjoy a lot of the spoils that are going to come after you. So hopefully you can have some pride in that and, and feel good about doing that.
Yeah, for sure.
Who are some guys that you're really close to and in at Southern Oregon, and can you kind of tell me how those relationships developed?
Yeah. God bless you. I'd say probably like my core group of guys are Christian Graney, Ben Graziani, and then I'd say Josh and Tez. Like, I don't really hang out with them much because we had our own separate schedules, but there's some real ones, and I like to just surround myself with people that are real and authentic.
Yeah. Speaking on Josh and Tez, they've been great leaders for our program, and they're just so mature and and thoughtful, and they were a couple of our early episodes 2 and 3. Just like we're learning, figuring stuff out here in the booth, and having conversations, but both of them are just so thoughtful.
Yeah.
And like you, thinking about their place in the world, and making plans for the future, and wanting to really take control of their destiny and be a positive influence on the world and society. So
for sure, I think that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Josh is a knucklehead, but he's a good guy.
Yeah, how is he a knucklehead?
Just whenever him and I are in a room together, we just tend to goof off a little more, and he always has a good energy, so I appreciate it about him.
Yeah. What about Caldera?
Caldera's good.
Tell us about Caldera.
It's a good time. Mostly athletes work there, which is kind of funny, but just shows that we work hard. And first restaurant job, and really enjoying it.
What nights do you work?
Football season is just Wednesday nights. Now I'm trying to pick up as many shifts as possible. So if I could, it would be a Wednesday through Saturday kind of deal. And then, but yeah, we'll see.
In the evenings, we'll have to come see you.
Do it.
Yeah, sure.
Fish and chips, best thing on the menu.
Yeah.
What about that burger?
We got the best burgers in town.
So that's the word.
I push fish and chips, but yeah, we got a solid burger too.
Is it the chef?
Huh?
The chef's really good, huh?
The what?
The chef you guys got?
The chef?
Cook.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were saying shift. The chef. We just got a new chef.
English Ani.
He's cool. But, yeah.
Yeah, I've been in quite a few times, and Josh and Tez, they always get me right.
Yeah, good.
So I want to hear a little bit more about what it looks like moving forward. You're saying business. What kind of, just want to dig a little more out of you. Like, what kind of effect do you want to have on the world? Like, what kind of influence do you want to have, and what kind of person do you want to be, and what kind of people do you want to have in your circle and work with to have influence on the world?
Nice. I don't think I've ever been asked that question, so thank you. Yeah, just to go kind of backwards. The people I want to surround myself are definitely hustlers. Just that mindset. I'm a big Nipsey Hussle kind of person. And so grind into the top. Kind of influence I want to have is just like the most positive I can be. I'm probably not necessarily the most politically correct, and so I'm probably going to slip up here and there, but it is what it is. I kind of like to do things my way, and it's gotten me in trouble a few times, but it is what it is. And kind of business. I really admire like Elon Musk. Take it for what it is, like him and his Twitter thing, like that's what it is. But I really like, he just disrupts industries and does things no one has done before, and he kind of does it effortlessly and quickly, and it's just a baller in the business world, and I admire that a lot. And so I kind of want to just take bits and pieces from his work, his mindset, his ideals, and then apply it to mine, and then kind of just go throughout the industry and kind of find that, like, I would say Bill Gates, but he kind of just had a lot of other help. I kind of like the people that like lead their way to success. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, you mentioned the people that you're close to here are really genuine people. people that are really genuine that go out and have success in the world, they typically make their own blueprint.
Yeah.
Right. So that's part of it. You said you're not very politically correct at times, but
yeah.
Sometimes you just have to believe in yourself and kind of force the issue, whatever you believe in. And I'm a fan of Elon Musk too. I mean, he's done some pretty he said some stupid things at times to ruffle some feathers. So I don't want anyone to get mad at me, political correctness. But as far as going out and making stuff happen, like he's been really impressive. And when you can say, I'm just going to buy Twitter and make it however I want, like, there's something real gangster about that, right?
Yeah,
to be able to do that. So
100%.
That's really cool in my mind.
Just backtracking a little bit. I know we're kind of bouncing around, asking about business, football, yada yada. But as a college athlete in general, what's something that you didn't anticipate going from high school to college that you think a recruit could know that would help them, just as far as either life or the sport or balancing it all?
Yeah, I'd say just prepare yourself for a lot of adversity. Kind of in high school, I was kind of good at football, good at track, and if I put in the work, like, I'll be just fine. But it's been a lot more than that. You have to kind of account for a lot more people that you have to interact with and deal with, and and so just kind of being able to, I don't really know where I'm trying to go with this, but it's just like stuff's going to happen, and you just got to be able to roll with it.
Overcome.
Yeah, exactly. And just keep pushing and figure out what you want out of this college experience. I mean, freshman year, you may not know what it is, but kind of sit yourself down at some point and just try to figure out, okay, what do I want out of this? And then that way you can kind of start working backwards to be like, okay, like, if I want first team conference, okay, what are first team conference people doing? Okay, what are their numbers? What, like, do I need to do to elevate my game to that level? And then it's, if that's not something you're about and you just want to have a good time, just like look at, okay, like, how can I have the best time, or how can I enjoy the most out of my time here? And just kind of start putting together that plan, because as I've came to realize, once you get to the real world, you got to have a plan if you want to make it. And so if you're just doing this whole college thing without a plan, you're kind of just screwing yourself in the long run.
No, that seems like great advice.
Yeah.
I know you didn't know where you're going for a second. You definitely bounced back at the end there.
Appreciate that.
So following up on that real quick, I like to ask people about their areas and where they're from. And from an athletic standpoint, like, do you feel like the greater Eugene area is a little underappreciated and under recruited a little bit? Like, for you, I'm sure growing up you had high goals and aspirations, and obviously you ended up at a great school like SOU, so it all worked out in the end. But as a whole, do you feel like there's a lot of talent in Eugene that goes unnoticed for whatever reason?
Oh, for sure. I look at Portland dudes a little differently, because it's like they get, from what it seemed like, I mean, from my high school experience, it just seemed like it was the Portland kids got all the bigger schools and the bigger attention. Yeah. And then Eugene schools, you didn't really get out the mud, but like you had to work a little harder to get some attention. I remember I was emailing Oregon State, like Portland State, like, hey, like, I would just love the opportunity to come introduce myself to you and like get my name and my foot in the door, just to prove to you that like I am worth it. And I just got ignored. And like in football, you have like 7-on-7 and all that stuff like that, and all that was in Portland, and there wasn't anything in Eugene when I was going. Now I think there's like one kind of like 7-on-7 team, but and for some reason, I guess that was all the hype to get recruited. And so it was like either travel to Portland every weekend to showcase yourself, or just hope and pray that they'll come find you in Eugene. So track, it was a little bit differently. I was thankful enough to get some advice from Devin Allen, and he kind of mentioned that it's like, all right, he kept it real. And he's like, if you're not like top 10 in your event in the country, like you're probably not getting looked at. And so it's like either that, you just got to introduce yourself to as many coaches as possible and hope that they'll let you join the team, and then you can work your way up through there. But so track's a little bit different, but yeah, I think Eugene definitely could get some more recognition for sure.
So obviously in football, like the AAU, so to speak, is like 7-on-7.
Yeah.
But as far as track goes, what's the closest thing to like club for track? Did you do that in high school, if there is?
Yeah. By my sophomore year, I gave up basketball because during the winter, you can do indoor track, and that's kind of like the AAU, where it's like it's still going year round, and you know, like people who are real and like real about the sport, that's when like they're in the off season showing their numbers and everything like that. And so for hurdles, it was, instead of a 110 hurdle race, it's a 60-meter race, which is, I think there's 5 hurdles, and the race is over in less than 7 seconds. So
it's short.
Yeah. So
you prepare so much time for 7 seconds and it's over.
No, you're telling me.
Well, the thing with track too is it's like the time is the time, or the height is the height, or the distance is the distance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where with football it can be a lot more nuanced. You know, like, can he run a route? You know, can he read the coverage? Can he make someone miss? There's just so many other things. Whereas in track, it's like the timer said this. Right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's a little more.
Exactly. That's what I kind of like about track too, is that it's like it's true.
Yeah.
And you can't get around it. And so, yeah.
So you said your favorite wide receiver was Julio Jones.
Yeah.
Who's obviously a freak in every aspect of the wide receiver position. What's obviously his physical attributes speak for themselves, but what do you think about the receiver position that, you know, is maybe underappreciated, that people need to think about more, like whether it's route running or blocking, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think looking at the receiver position as a whole is underrated. Because you gotta run good routes, you gotta be able to catch the ball and get yak, and it's like make a dude miss, like you were saying, and it's like you also gotta block. And that was like my biggest frustration, or I said my biggest thing from last year to this year, is I really tried to focus on blocking. Wasn't necessarily where I wanted to be, but and then you also like you said, gotta read coverages, gotta understand what's actually happening, and whether to run a route differently against man or zone, and finding windows in the zone, and just kind of having that above level football IQ. And a lot, like almost all of that never gets talked about. And so it's cool, but also it's like you put in all this work and no one knows what you're doing out there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, just speaking NFL, because that's what I see the most. It seems like there's a lot of the average fan doesn't realize who the best players are and why necessarily. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's the guys that are at the top, you know, the Cooper Kupps and whoever else, Julio Jones, he's battled injuries, but like a Cooper Kupp, a lot of the reason he's so good is just because he can run routes so well and diagnose plays so quickly and recognize all those things and then catch the ball. But there's a lot of guys out there, and I don't even necessarily know who they'd be, who are elite wide receivers who don't have the highlight plays. You know, but they're just so good at doing all those different things that you're talking about.
100%.
Is there do you have an NFL team that you follow?
Oh yeah, I'm a big Seahawks guy.
I knew it.
I could
go Hawks.
I knew it.
Go Hawks.
We're big Niner guys.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's a Giants fan.
Giants? I mean, I could count that, but
I knew it. I just had a intuition.
Jimmy Garoppolo is not that guy.
There's a lot of Hawks fans that I really like, though, and a lot of them that I don't like. Like, I really like Josh, but he's a Hawks fan.
Oh, yeah. That's why me and Josh almost became friends. Like, that was a big piece.
Yeah. How'd you get sucked into the dark side?
I don't know. Growing up, I really admired Sean Alexander.
Oh, yeah.
And that was kind of like the jump start for me. But yeah, and then ever since then, it was kind of cool. And then Marshawn Lynch,
I love Marshawn Lynch too. Yeah.
And then I've kind of obsessed over Doug Baldwin and like his footwork, and like I take a lot of my footwork from him, everything like that. So.
There's a guy, kind of what I was talking about, who didn't get a ton of attention, but he was an elite wide receiver because he was always open.
Yeah,
he's always getting himself open and
exactly
catching touchdowns too.
Yeah, he's not quite as good as Debo, but it's okay.
What did Debo do last game?
I think he won, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Well, against the Rams before he got hurt, I think he had like 150 all-purpose yards, a couple touchdowns.
His numbers haven't been great this year, but I love Debo.
Yeah, we're not playing him at running back as much, so he doesn't get as many touches. And like you said, Jimmy G is average at best, so it's not exactly the best.
Glad you're able to recognize that.
No, I'm not delusional.
No, on the group chat, Aden is always killing our Niners. Like as soon as the game starts, he's just talking smack about how bad we are, and then the rest of us have to like pull him back up.
I got you.
I'm just so passionate. You know what I mean? It's like
you got to be.
I need a Super Bowl. You know, all of our Super Bowls were in the 90s and 80s. You know what I mean? So I need one in the 21st century.
I do want to know your thoughts on Geno versus Russell Wilson.
I mean, Geno's putting up numbers. Russ, I don't know what happened with Russ. I might guess it's something to do with Sierra, but just that dude is checked out.
Everything changed once he got with her, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think he's been with her for a while, hasn't he?
No, they've been together for like 4, 5, 6 years.
Yeah, but isn't that when he started falling off? Because his last couple of years with the Hawks weren't great.
Yeah, but his team wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
it's easy to pinpoint. But if you're a great quarterback, you can still find a way.
Yeah, but like, I don't know, football and team sports in general. I think like we always want to give individuals success, and obviously it's easy to sometimes. But so many of the positions they rely on other people, so it's like 100%. It's always, if you really cut it down, it's sort of not easy to. Really give them the full credit that they might deserve.
Our O-line was dog water for a couple of years too. So,
is it better this year, or is Geno just that guy?
We picked up 2 rookies, and one was he went 9th overall. I can't tell you his whole name, but
the lineman
from Mississippi State,
Cross.
Yeah. And then we had another one we picked up. I want to say in like the 3rd round, who's been a big surprise, and he's starting on the right side. So happy with him.
It always starts there.
Yeah. And then Kenneth Walker, just that guy.
I was going to ask you about him. Yeah, he's looked good.
Yeah.
Not as good as Elijah Mitchell or Christian McCaffrey, but.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. You can. Christian McCaffrey, I'll give you that. But
Elijah Mitchell?
I mean, he's all
pretty
right.
Good.
I mean, Chargers definitely made him look good with their beat up D line.
Yeah.
I could have gotten 10 yards of carry.
Still got to do it.
Yeah.
So have you ever seen I stumbled across this last night. Have you ever seen Stutz or heard of that? Jonah Hill, Jonah Hill, right?
I saw that, yeah.
He just created this movie with his therapist. Have you heard of that?
I saw like the preview. I didn't click on it though.
I turned it on. I was the last one up last night, and I was like cleaning up a little bit, and I turned that on, and it was very interesting. It was kind of like he's kind of like recording a therapy. He's making a movie out of it and like styling it as like a therapy session, but he's kind of like interviewing his therapist, and his therapist has Parkinson's, and so he's physically he's kind of deteriorating a little bit, but he just had so many good insights. So I was wondering if you guys saw it, but one of the things that really stuck with me is one thing as humans, this is the therapist, saying that your entire life you will constantly have pain, uncertainty, and constant worry. And we spend our lives trying to avoid these things and kind of trying to hide from these things. But his take was that just building the tools to be able to recognize when those pain, uncertainty, and constant worry are preventing you from taking that next step in your life, and being able to use those tools basically to move forward. And he talked about a string of pearls, which was basically he draws everything on his note cards throughout therapy sessions, and then he gives them to the people that he's working with. And it was just like a line and then a circle, a line and a circle, and a line and a circle. And basically saying the most successful people that live the most fulfilled lives are able just to build another pearl on the string, regardless of what their, the pain, uncertainty, or constant worry that they're dealing with at that time. And I kind of just wanted to bring that up because what you were talking about with meditation and being successful in life and wanting to build what you want to build, it seemed like it really applied to that. Oh, and it just it stuck with me through this morning. Been thinking about that because so many of us, when we encounter challenges, it's easy just to give up or to place blame on someone, or when we get hurt by someone, to spend a lot of our lives waiting for that hurt to be for us to be repaid for that hurt. Yeah. While the successful people just keep stringing pearls on and finding success. So I thought that might be something that that could have some value for you. For sure,
I appreciate that. And it was Stutz.
Stutz. That's the name of it. Yeah, okay. I believe that's the name. Stutz. And I think the therapist's name is Stutzman or something like that. Gotcha. I'm assuming they didn't. Obviously, he's not going to say who the other people he works with, but I think it's like really successful people like Jonah Hill, like people in Hollywood, and it was interesting. It was fun to listen to him. So check that out.
Thanks for sharing.
Stutz, sponsor us.
Yeah. It was just interesting the way they shot. He goes in background, the way they shoot, like they're making a movie, but he also shows you how they're making the movie, and it's really hard to describe, but
that sounds unique.
Yeah, it was very, I haven't seen a movie like this. It was like he'd be talking and then he'd be like cut, and then he would take off his wig and be like, God, I've been wearing this wig every day now for 9 months, because when we first started shooting this film, this is what my hair looked like. And it was really interesting the way they were talking about. And he'd be like, and our audience doesn't realize that we've been wearing the same clothes, the same outfit every single day, because we don't want anyone to know what day we're actually shooting this scene. And it was just like, wow, this is crazy. It was kind of like a behind the scenes into movie making, and also therapy session. And, Jonah Hill has grown so much from this therapist that it seemed like he kind of wanted this therapist to be showcased so that people could draw on those ideas, which is kind of, I guess, why I was sharing those ideas as this guy's getting older and dealing with major health issues. So
there you go.
Yeah. Check it out.
Have you guys ever done therapy or anything like that?
I've done a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts on it?
I think it can be really good, and I think it can be not so good. I've always enjoyed it. I was always just kind of fascinated with psychology. I remember taking a psychology class I don't remember the year. I think it was my sophomore year when I first came to Southern, and was really interested in it and just how the brain works. I've always overthought everything in my life, overthinker, and I was the way my family was with my dad, who I was always really close to my dad, but he was kind of like your track coach, like, this is the plan, this is what we're doing today, this is how you do it, type of thing, so I spent a lot of my life doing what I was supposed to do and finding success that way. And then when I got off to college, and it was like I was responsible for myself, that I ran into a lot more challenges at that point.
Yeah.
So I've just always been fascinated with how the brain works and how it affects you, and how to navigate that. And I've gone to a lot of different therapists. Usually I find myself kind of like analyzing the therapist. You know what I mean? Okay. Like they ask me a question or whatever, and then it's like, this is where you're trying to go with that, you know, and it's
what are you trying to do to me here?
Yeah.
I got you.
There's been a lot of times where I'll ask questions back, like to try, and I'm sure it's just annoying for people like that to kind of, you know, to kind of like dig into their mind. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a game, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't mean this in a bad way, but I really think life is a game too.
Oh, 100%.
You know, and for me, when I'm able to treat it as a game, I'm a lot happier and have more success. Whereas if I'm, there's definitely been periods in my life where bad things have happened, or I've, you know, got my feelings hurt by people or whatever it is, where I've just stayed in that, blamed the other person for my hard feelings, and then just get stuck. So, you know, stuck in a rut, and then I'm unhappy. Mm-hmm. So doing that, I've done a lot of different things. I did one thing that was one of my favorites was I met this Indian woman. This was when I was in Tacoma. Mm-hmm. I met this Indian woman that did breathing therapy, and it's like a deep breathing technique where you basically hyperventilate, mm-hmm. and you have to have someone there, and you basically go into like an altered state of consciousness, and it's kind of like an out of body experience, and I don't know how to explain it. You kind of put your body into like a almost like a full body cramping, and you're like you're just kind of like expelling tension. But it's like a really intense process. You finish, and I was like covered in sweat, and but I came out of that after that time, and it was a build up process. Like we met, you know, probably like 10 or 15 times, and then did that. And I came out of it like feeling a lot lighter and feeling refreshed, you know, very refreshed, and having a new perspective on life.
That's what's up.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then put myself in a position to where I was able to read more of the messages that are mm-hmm. coming to me.
Nice.
Because I'm a big believer in whatever you put out into the universe comes back to you, you know, and to be able to read those signs, like, people are talking to me this way. Mm-hmm. And when I was taught and learned and was able to recognize more, when people are treating me a certain way, it's probably because I'm acting a certain way.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I'm putting out there.
That's a huge lesson for me too.
Yeah. What did I do that caused this response from that person?
Yeah.
And that gives you all the power too. Like when you say, whatever happens to me, I'm responsible for that, I'm accountable to that, then you take all the power into good, bad, indifferent that happens in your life. And, it just gives you more power, more control over your thoughts and all that.
For sure.
Like you just gave me some free game. I for sure. Like, I was just trying to suck it in, but
yeah. Well, I was inspired by Bryce. You coming in here and just how much you got into that right away. I was like, man, this is awesome.
I think I learned a lot of that from mushrooms.
Really?
Being honest, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That gave me that out of body and like understanding.
Yeah.
Sorry, I probably shouldn't have.
No, I'm really happy you said that.
We like to open up.
Okay, I got you.
What was your first experience with that?
It was junior year of college, and I saw Mother Nature in my ceiling, and 2 words she kind of like explained to me, and it was perspective, and kind of like that feeling, that understanding of like what you put out, like you get back, and it's not all through your eyes. Mm-hmm. And it's also no one can really fully understand you because they've never been in your shoes, walked your path, and like experienced what you've experienced. So just there's no need to trip about people fully understanding you. Mm-hmm. And then the second word was nirvana.
Wow.
Which was kind of what I'm striving for in life. And it's like, yeah, she like showed me, it was really weird. It was, but like the whole time I was calm, and it just, everything felt like it was normal. But I was just laying in my bed looking up, and then I just see like this beautiful woman that just for some reason, like I knew it was Mother Nature or that idea of her. And she was just kind of like looking at me, and I was just like, I kind of went into it like wanting an answer, because I was always told like, take it if you are like looking for more out of this life. And so I like took it and I like was looking at her and I said, okay, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready for whatever you have to tell me. I'm like open to hear. Like, just let me know. And then like she kind of just told me like patience. And then because I was like very eager to like get that information. And then so I kind of like sat there for like 5 minutes and kind of just like took some breaths. And I said, okay, like whenever you're ready, like I'm ready. And she like smiled. And that was like kind of like the key or whatever. And she like opened up her mouth and my bad. And like it brought me, and like I was looking at this setting of like, I was like in this like hot tub pool, whatever. And I was like overlooking this like beautiful scenery. Like to me, it looked like Hawaii. But I was just like in this like absolute perfect setting of just peace. And just the word nirvana came to me. It's like, okay, like this is what I'm striving for in life. It's just peace and tranquility.
And do you have is nirvana a Buddhist term or a Hindu term? Do you know? Do you have any strict religious beliefs?
No, not really. I'm kind of just open.
And was this just straight psilocybin?
I think so. Psilocybin is.
Was it just like whole mushrooms?
Yeah.
You sure it wasn't like peyote or something? That sounds kind of intense.
No, it was. It took me a while to get to that point. I was just seeing visuals up until then, but
that sounds crazy.
No, it was wild, and I'll never forget it. I'm very thankful for it. But
and you did this. Was your intent like as a therapeutic type of thing?
Yeah, it wasn't like, oh yeah, let's just do it. It's like it was thoughtfully planned out and carefully executed.
Yeah. No, I think psilocybin is incredible.
And that's just flat out mushrooms? That's
the chemical in mushrooms.
Okay, yeah. I got you.
Yeah. And there's a lot of very serious research on it right now. Mm-hmm. Do you follow any of that?
No, but I can definitely get behind it after my experience.
Yeah. I've had some very profound experiences that have changed my life dramatically.
Good.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I don't think it's for everyone, but for the right people, I think it can be very useful. So do you, what were your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers and ayahuasca?
I have no idea. I'm not really the type to like judge. So it's like, if he feels like he needs it and needs a getaway or an escape, like you're what is it now, 4-time MVP? Like do what you need to do.
You're right.
But yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go real deep real quick. So are you familiar with ayahuasca?
Sort of. My grandpa actually did it.
Oh, really?
And he gave me some like good reviews, but we didn't dive too deep into it.
You guys familiar with ayahuasca?
Not at all.
You drink it, right?
Yeah, so it's a drink. So ayahuasca is basically for the ceremonial ritual. There's 2 plants in the Amazon rainforest that, when combined, basically they cause a what's the word for it? A psychedelic experience. And there's you can get really deep on this, on how like ancient people figure this out, because I read a lot of these things, watch a lot of these documentaries.
Gotcha.
There's like 139,000 species of plants in the Amazon, and there's only these 2, when you put them together, make ayahuasca. And like apparently the ancients and the shamans say they were told by these specific entities that it's when you mix these 2 plants.
Yeah.
And these entities, like most people that go through the experience claim to see the same entities, so they have the same type of experience. And what is it? Right? What are your thoughts on what that was? So when you had your experience, I'm going to extend this question. What are your thoughts on what that was? Because in my mind, there's a lot of people that are going to be like, you're on drugs, things are going crazy. But everyone I've ever known or heard about that's had that experience believes that it was very real.
Yeah.
Where they were and what happened to them, it was very real. So what are your thoughts on that? Was that your brain was on drugs and you have no idea what was happening, or what are your thoughts on
No, I think it was real. I mean, I believe that it definitely got me more in tune with what is actually going on. Not like actually going on, but it's like we're living in like a different reality. But it's kind of just a deeper connection with maybe it's yourself, maybe it's a higher power, but it's like there was a voice, like there was something that it seemed like it was telling you or informing you or giving you information on something else. And it made me start to believe that it might be like your own entity, because if it's like so many of these different people are having this same encounter, it's like if you would have done it and you would have had an encounter with the same entity, it would probably tell you the same thing and probably tell you like what is actually going on. But the reason I say it's might be like inner is because everyone experiences something, but it's a little bit different in their own way. And I don't really know. It just felt like I wasn't like scared or anything. I was like definitely comfortable. And I actually have a voice recording. I'm big into podcasts, but I'm also like big into like, you know how you have on your phone like voice memos, like stuff like that. I'm big into like just like recording conversations, and it's like to like look back and reflect, or just like listen to conversations. Like I have a conversation with my grandpa talking about like this kind of stuff, and it meant a lot to me because he passed away right before the football season, and so like I listened to that a couple of times, and just like he was a very wise dude, and I'm thankful for him. And but yeah, in the voice recording, I was like, when I was on the mushrooms, I was just like, yeah, there's something different. And like, it feels like, and I remember saying like, everything we need and like all of this that's given to us is like created from the earth. And it's like, this wasn't like artificially like made, or it's like, you can like do LSD and all that kind of stuff, and that gives you a different vibe. But it's like, with the mushrooms, it felt like a whole lot more natural and like down to earth. And it's like, so that's got to mean something if it's coming from the earth, like, and it's telling you something. That may make sense. It may not, but
it makes sense.
It is what it is.
I mean, our bodies, and even religiously, you'll hear like, we came from the dust, or we came from the dirt. You know, our bodies are literally made of the same compounds that are in the earth.
Yeah.
You know, and we die and we go back into the earth, and it recycles, and then, you know, more life is made out of that. So I'm with you 100% on that one.
Heck yeah.
And it's almost like it's a portal into another dimension. Almost. And then I think about, I know you guys think I'm crazy right now. And
I love it. I love how
that's kind of where like my grandpa was heading towards.
Well, I think of you think of other animals too.
Yeah.
Right. So like every other animal, not every other one, but basically every other animal. You want to go right now?
I was just going to say, when we were on it, we lived kind of like by downtown, me and my boys. And when we were doing it, deer, like we went on a walk and like deer came up to us. Yeah. And like I have pictures, but like they were just like hanging around us. Like we literally were petting deer because they just knew we were on a different wave. Yeah. And it was just wild. But go ahead.
That is wild. Yeah. No, that's a slightly different from what I was saying, but I believe in that wholeheartedly. But every animal senses reality in a different way.
Yeah.
So like, you know, dogs and, you know, a lot of animals that we spend more time around are more similar, but they still see colors differently. They smell things differently. And like, there's animals that work on an infrared, you know, like reptiles, sense the world differently. So for them, everything looks differently. It's a completely different perspective on reality. So to imagine everything through the human perspective is a little naive for us to say this right here is reality. The last thing I wanted to say about that was, did you know that you probably did know this, when we die, so DMT is within human. We have DMT inside us. DMT is the active ingredient in ayahuasca. It's a hallucinogen.
Yeah.
There's DMT in every living thing. And I don't have I can't cite the studies, but what I've heard and read is that the most recent studies say that as we die, DMT is released in our body. So that essentially the dying brain.
And when we're born, right?
It might be.
I think it's when we're born and when you pass.
But basically, as you die, you go on a DMT trip. Yeah. Which is very interesting to think about when people that have near-death experiences and talk about going to the afterlife and, these different things. Like, I just think that there's a real connection there.
Oh, 100%.
There's something going on there that we don't fully understand yet.
Yeah.
And I think we need to try and find out why in a very safe way.
Yeah, exactly. I'm happy you said safe way, because people take this out of hand sometimes.
Well, people that just do things recreationally it can be very dangerous, you know, and there's people that have had psychotic breaks on a lot of different types of drugs.
Mm-hmm.
There's I'm not trying to say that everyone should go out and use drugs. Like, that's not at all what I'm saying. But what I'm saying
that's what you're saying.
I'm saying in the right setting, we can learn a lot about humanity from some of these different drugs, because they've been around for centuries. And there's all sorts of different theories about different things.
For sure.
Yeah.
Good stuff, fellas.
Yeah. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks for getting deep with us.
I feel enlightened.
I'm not here for surface level.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Me neither. It was interesting you said that about the podcast and voice memos.
Mm-hmm.
A big thing for me was, as I'm getting older and seeing how life works, and feeling myself age and watching myself age, having kids and watching them come into the earth and into life, and seeing them develop and watching how their brains work. I really want to sit down with my family members and record time with them where I talk to them, so I can pass that on to my kids, who won't ever have those same, chances to sit down with, my parents, just because of the age difference, and have those same types of conversations. And that's really what drove me to want a podcast in the first place. Is to create these experiences. And then with that, it's just kind of natural being here as a coach, wanting to sit down with athletes like yourself and just hear what your story is, because, from you today, I'm going to be thinking about this stuff all day, right? And things that you've talked about, and your goals in life. And I've had that from pretty much everyone that we've had come into the studio. I'm like, think about something and hope that what we talk about, that other people can think about that, and it just moves things in a positive direction moving forward.
Yeah, 100%. And thanks for having me. Definitely can get down with this and admire what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's been the coolest part for me too, is just like, all the topics and ideas that you brought up, we will never hear someone say it similarly or the same to you,
Yeah.
It's like,
appreciate that.
Coach Carlotta is going to say something completely different. Josh is going to say something completely different.
Yeah.
Tez, everyone. Exactly. So it's just cool to get a collection of everybody's ideas, and
everyone's got little gems that you can kind of take away.
Exactly. So that's been the coolest part for me.
Yeah, because of the.
What about you? What's been your coolest part?
Just the way you carry yourself, about like how much you care about family and like football, and like you do stuff off the court too. Just like, off the field. Sorry, but I'm kind of interested on the business side. Like, what got you into it? And, like, what keeps you going?
Appreciate that. My dad was a business guy, and he kind of started like the whole idea of work ethic for our family, anyways. And he always had this story of like, he's like kind of like a senior manager at his like business right now, and he started in the warehouse, and he said that one day they were kind of like having like what's that one thing where like they have like not an internship but like
capstone?
No, they have like people come in and they work for a little bit. A temp? Is that what you said?
Oh, yeah.
A temp. Yeah. They had like 20 temps or something like that, and they came in for like a week just to get some work done. And then it was the last day, and they were in the shop, and they all went home. And my dad stayed back and asked if like there's anything else he could help with. And some dude's like, yeah, like if you want like the sweep up this area and like call it a day. He's all right, perfect. And so he ended up sweeping up the whole like warehouse. The dude came back like 2 hours later. He's like, what are you still doing here? He's like, job's not finished. So it's like, I'm going to finish when the job's done. He's like, we'll come back next week and we can find a spot for you. And he's worked his way up 25 years in that.
Wow.
And so it's like, he always tells us that story. And it's like, yeah, like if he can do that, like I can do anything. Like, so it's cool. And then, yeah, just admiring what he does within the business, and just, I'm really fascinated with the idea of entrepreneurship. And so just like coming up with building something or doing something that's never been done before. It's really cool.
Good stuff.
Inspiring. Yeah. Well, we're gonna wrap it up here. Well, we went so deep, I don't want to go surface level at the end, but we do have, thanks again to Morgan George, Northwest Pizza and Pasta. We got a gift card for you.
No.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. No way.
Yeah,
Shout out.
Yeah. So get yourself a little something in there.
Yeah, and
sure. Thanks again.
No, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
The Running Raiders are out.